Hey everybody, it's Susie, and I'd like to call this, Is That So? I love that saying. Is that so? Anyway, in our last private corporate webinar with the founder and the CEO of On Passive, Ash Mufarah, he spoke about a few things that always, obviously piqued my interest. And one of them was the Peter Principle, which I had learned about years ago, law of the lid, which I had also learned about, and also all of the training and development that they're going to be doing with the staff in On Passive. So I wanted to talk a little bit in my interpretation of the Peter Principle, because when I was taught the Peter Principle, I said, is that so? And it does make sense. So the Peter Principle was developed by a man named Lawrence Peter. I think it was in the late 1960s, early 70s. And what they discovered is that people are competent in a position, they get promoted to a next position, they eventually, maybe learn the skills and they're competent in that position, then they're promoted to the next position. And when they get in that position, they may become incompetent because they haven't sought out the skills, or the organization has not provided them with the training and the skills to be successful. So eventually what happens is you get promoted to a position, the highest level you would get is where you're incompetent. Is that so? How awful is that? I mean, it sounds negative, but there's a lot of truth to that. As far as law of the lid goes, as we know, that's from John Maxwell. It's one of the first laws in his 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. And what Ash was speaking about was here is your leadership lid, meaning maybe you're a 4 or a 5 in your leadership skills, and here's your business. If you don't improve and increase the capacity of your leadership, your business will not increase. It's a law. It hits right there. So in an effort to advance leadership skills and development, not only is Ash excellent at self-monitoring himself and doing that, he's also providing those leadership skills and development for the staff and organization. And I'm just saying this is something we can all do and we can all get better at, so we can continually grow in our leadership skills and development, which will actually help our businesses increase. And I'm going to talk more about that at another time. But I wanted to talk about the word competence and incompetent, because that's a very strong word. And I'm going to tell you something I learned from a mentor, and it stuck with me. And it stuck with me because it helped me identifying not just things personally in my life, but in helping others and understanding when you are in an organization and you're helping people move up to the next level, what's important. But basically, here's something, an example that you make it a little bit clearer. There are 4 levels to competence. The first one is you are unconsciously incompetent. Unconsciously incompetent. What does that mean? It means you don't know what you don't know. Is that so, Susie? Yes, that is so. Unconsciously incompetent. So you're a baby. You have no idea about cars, driving cars. You're a newborn. You're unconsciously incompetent. You have no idea out there in the world about cars, okay? You start getting older and you realize, wow, there's cars and people are driving them. So all of a sudden, the next level is you become consciously incompetent. So you know about it, you see mom or dad driving a car, but there's no way you know how to drive a car, but you're conscious about that it is there, it does exist, okay? The next level, level 3, is you become consciously competent. So some of you out there that took driver's ed, or one of your parents or siblings taught you how to drive, You become consciously competent, but you're thinking about it. That's the consciously competent. And think back to when you first learned how to drive a car. Now, I learned how to drive a car with a clutch and a stick. So tell me, I was consciously competent. I had to think about it. Was I, letting the clutch go and enough gas at the right time? Was I shifting? Was I paying attention? Where are the blinkers with the rear view mirror? You get in the car and you're thinking, but you are becoming competent in it, but you have to think about it. And, driving around when you were first learning, you really had to be consciously competent to drive the car. You had to think about it. Now, the last level, the fourth level, is you become unconsciously competent. And what does that mean? That means it just happens without you thinking about it. It's like muscle memory. How many of you have gotten in the car? I know I have. Do I remember starting it or pulling out and all of a sudden you're somewhere and you've parked the car, you're getting out of the car, you locked it. Everything just happens automatically. You are unconsciously competent. There's a lot of, let's use golf as an example too. People learning golf. They think about it, they overthink about it, they're about their swing, they're approaching the ball, do this, this, and this. Eventually, if you're a really good golfer or a professional, you get to that unconsciously competent level where you stand up there, it's automatic, you swing, muscle memory. So those are the 4 levels. So why did I bring this up, and why is this important? I think sometimes we need to look at, if you want to grow professionally, personally in your life, you kind of have to look at things that interest you. What are you consciously incompetent with? And is it something that lights you up and you want to learn more about it? Okay. If that's true, then you need to seek out, you need to learn new things. Okay. And get consciously competent, and then to the level where you're unconsciously competent, that it's muscle memory. I also know what I really, really appreciate about Ash and what he's doing with the company On Passive is providing leadership development, training and development for the staff. So one of the worst things a company can do is take an employee who's really good at something and then promote them to the next level or a higher position where they don't have the skills or the training or the support. Yes, they could find out by themselves what, to learn, but if it's not provided to them, they're going to become incompetent. They're going to fail. And that's not a great way to run a business. I'll give you an example. There's a great nurse. She's great clinically. She's great with the patients. All of her clinical skills are excellent. Great attendance, joyful. She gets promoted to be a supervisor of people. So she gets put in that position. If the organization does not provide her with leadership training, some mentoring, some tools and resources to help her be successful, she's going to fail in that position. Yeah, she can go learn some things on her own and maybe she would be successful, but that's not the best way to do things. So you put them in the position, you provide them with the support and development and training and development so that they can learn and become successful. So that's great. She becomes successful and then maybe she's at the next level. So an organization that does that respects their staff, finds value in their staff, and I just think it's a great asset of On Passive that the founder and CEO, Ash Mufareh, and his team are focused on doing that, because that will be longevity for the company. It'll also help with employee satisfaction, employee retaining, because you know what? The company of On Passive would be nothing without the staff, the employees, the family that they have created. So kudos to you, Ash Mufara, for knowing this, understanding this, and implementing it so that people have an opportunity to be successful and to be competent in the things they're doing. And I just want to say, is that so? Yes, that is so. On Passive is doing it. Okay, so until next time, mwah.